afternoon, Coronado Rotary. Live from Coronado, it's Wednesday afternoon.
Damn.
Today's speaker is Rahn from the Fisher House, Southern California. Musical guest host will be Mary Taylor. And to kick things off, Bill Lipman with Invocation and Pledge.
Bow your head with me. Let us pray together, each one of us, according to our individual beliefs. We give thanks for the freedom which allows Rotary to meet without fear of persecution. We are grateful for the brave men and women who serve to provide this freedom. We pray for the leaders of Ukraine and Israel to win their battles against unprovoked attacks. Amen. Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, go D-back.
Thank you, Bill. All right. Visiting Rotarians and guests, past President Dan Orr.
I heard you missed me. I came back. Well, we had at least 3 visiting Rotarians find us down here, including somebody nonprofit, military from the Rotary Club of Long Beach. Please welcome Rahn. Hi, Linda. Try that. Oh gosh. Okay. And then we have an attorney from Reno Central Club, Shirley Roberts. Hi, Shirley. Try that. And then the commercial real estate from the Reno Central, Doug Roberts. There we go. Hey, teach you everything I know and still they know nothing. Okay, visiting guests of Rotarians, my left, your right.
President Bob, fellow Rotarians and guests, I'd like to introduce here, actually for the second time, my special guest was our speaker 2 years ago about carpet recycling, and he's here with us today and interested in Rotary. Eric Nelson.
Visiting Rotarian Chris Green.
President Bob and fellow Rotarians, it is my privilege to introduce Joey Jerome, who is the special guest of Rahn.
Fellow Rotarians, I'd like to introduce my wife, Josie Cushing, here as you see my little mind today.
Oh, Suzanne.
Sorry about that.
Suzanne Manuel. Oh. Hi, Frank.
Hello, young man.
Winner of the Suzanne
Ladies
Manuel
and gentlemen.
contest is Frank Spitzer.
Rotary President. My wife and
Winner of the Frank Spitzer lookalike contest is Suzanne Manuel.
Thank you, President Bob, fellow Rotarians, our guest Sandy Lemcour, and Anthony Pone, part of our Wounded Warrior basketball team that helps us win prizes every year in the 4th of July parade, right here.
I have one, President Bob and fellow Rotarians. Well, I just discovered one, Chris Grant. Stand up, Chris. Oh, and I do have one, my special guest, Terry Curtin.
We were all waiting to see how long you'd get past the... All right. And then we have our Red Badgers. Gennady is here. And Johnny Cushing is at the same table. Is JT here? There's JT. And Chris Kelly I saw coming in. And Joe Malloy. And a couple of these are going to be on their last days as red badge wearing Rotarians to be converted shortly. Did I miss any red badge Rotarians? Okay, cool. All right, we'll roll into the slideshow here. Announcements.
Sorry about that. Hold on. Eventually.
Short list for the remainder of the month here, October 26th, 2 days from now, 48 hours. And this is our first alternate meeting after the pandemic. And we'll have another slide here to give you the details. Next, please. Okay, Tom or Sarah, did you want to, Tom is going to get it.
Thank you, President Bob. So this is a very, for those that are newer in the club, we started this years ago, once a month for people especially that weren't able to get to our normal meeting, okay? But then a lot of you normal people love it because we have pizza, we have adult beverages, and it's only $20. So break out your 20s and come. Now, if you would, you can register online. You don't pay anything, but it just gives us a head count for food and beverage, okay? That would be greatly appreciated. You see the speaker, Johnny Cushing? Well, he's going to talk about himself and about aviation and a whole bunch of fun stuff. I have a secret thing. I'm going to be able to conduct the meeting that I'm going to do. Just a little something, if y'all come, you might enjoy, okay? So be there tomorrow night, 6 o'clock. That is tomorrow night. I was going to question you on that earlier, Bob. It was a test, thank you. Yeah. So be there tomorrow night, 6 o'clock at the hospital auditorium. It will be fun, trust me, okay? Thank you.
Thank you, Past President Tom. Okay. Next slide, please. And JT, the celebration of life is Sunday, correct?
Sunday, celebration of life is Sunday, November 12th.
Okay. Disregard the 29th date.
Sunday, November 12th, everything else at St. Paul's Methodist 2 p.m., that's correct.
Okay, and I will make that adjustment, and we'll make that announcement again next week.
I would encourage you to find street parking because we only have, about 14 spots in our lot. So we'll need to have for family and mobility. So there's lots of street parking around, but just be mindful of that and give a little extra time.
Right. Thank you, JT. Okay, next slide. This is exciting. As you came in today, you saw what has come in to be fashionable Rotarians. And I'm going to ask Past President Suzanne to stand up. I just noticed as we're having lunch, I said, she's the best dressed person at the table. And where did this come from? And this is an example of what we have to offer out there. Excellent. So you look marvelous. And our thanks to the apparel team and Sue Ryan for putting this all together. Please stop by on your way out if you didn't stop on your way in. Okay. Next slide. We're still doing free flu shots, right, Suzanne? Okay.
As far as I know.
Okay. Get one, and you get 2 for 1 actually, because you can get your COVID shot. Anyway. All right. Next slide. Well, this was an exciting event earlier this week. Now, we have 62 committees and sort of sub-clubs in this organization, and one of them is very exclusive, although not necessarily a small committee, because we have something like 28 past presidents in this club. But they inducted a new member this past week, and she's center stage there, little Ann Miller. And did you pay more dues to be in that particular Anyway, they held their meeting at Feast and Fairway, and a good time had by all, and congratulations to Luann, the newest member of this exclusive committee.
Yay!
Next slide. Okay, how many skiers do we have in here? Okay, how many skiers don't belong to ISFR? Okay, you don't actually have to be a skier. You can just come and enjoy the snow, and take a chance to talk to any number of us that have been involved in this over the years. I think at its maximum, at one point, we had 30 people at one of these gatherings. So Marty Helmers is running it for us this year, having taken the baton from Steve Dermeyer, who dutifully ran it for many, many years. Thank you, Steve. But please think about joining. If you sign up by October 31st, you get a special deal. So go wax those skis and join us. We're going to Bend, Oregon this year. It's going to be fun. I've skied there before, and it's absolutely fantastic. Okay, next slide. Happenings around town. Next slide. October 27th, which isn't technically Halloween, but Spreckles Park, we will have a setup there by 6th and C, I think, is kind of the target corner. And setup, it starts, I think, at 2 or 2:30 and open to the public at 3:30. I think we've got everybody we need there. If not, or if you're interested in tagging along, talk to John McCann. And the last slide, please. Again, we've got a great effort here of feeding the needy under the tutelage of the Griffins. Thank you, Bob and Mary. November 15th, still plenty of time to join. We've got 10 spots reserved, and we've already filled 6 of those. Brent Bennett, Bob Griffin, Suzanne Emanuel, Daniel Stewart have all signed up, and so there's 6 more spots available. Please talk to Mary Griffin if you are interested in participating. They're going to carpool it out of the U.S. Bank parking lot there on that morning of Wednesday the 15th. Okay. So now we're going to do what is one of the most fun things to do, and that is present checks to partners. And so if Dan and Sandy and Anthony would like to join me, we'll take care of that.
All right, come on up. Hi, everybody. Dan Frank here. It's a real pleasure to be here today. I say that because we get to extend a relationship with an organization that goes back over 15 years, and as I understand it, over $1 million donated to this organization. So here we are at, I guess, year 16. This is the Warrior Foundation Freedom Station. They're a local San Diego nonprofit that serves the active duty, ill and injured. Their major areas of assistance are with transitional housing, wellness programs, personal support, and an ambassador program. I'm not really sure. What's the ambassador program?
The ambassador program is a warrior that has lived with us and gone through the program and is excelled and is a success, and is Anthony. So our warriors. So I just wanted to share with you, I cannot tell you how many people's lives you have touched, you have saved. This year we have touched 4,700 military people, and we'll be, yesterday we handed out postcards, and they will be waking up in their own bed, in their own state, with their own family, thanks to all of you. They're going home for Christmas.
Okay, well, without further ado, President Bob is going to give a big check with a big number on it. So, Anthony, if you want to take one end.
Absolutely.
Please hold on to it.
Yeah, because it's heavy.
You can't see
Okay, well, thank you, and we'll see you in year 16.
Okay, we are, oh, this is going to be exciting. We're going to have a Who Am I from Johnny Cushing.
I don't have $15,000, so not that cool. I'm Johnny Cushing. I'm from Chicago, Illinois, and so I joined the Navy straight out of high school, went to boot camp at Great Lakes, just outside of Chicago, before going off to nuke school to learn how to operate nuclear reactors in Charleston, South Carolina. From there, thank you. From there, I went to USS Ronald Reagan in Virginia, Norfolk, Virginia. I was there for about a year before taking it here to San Diego. Arrived here in July of 2004, North Island. It was pretty awesome to finally get here. It's where I really wanted to be, even though I'd never been to California. From there, I was selected to become a pilot through the Navy's Seaman Admiral 21 enlisted officer commissioning program. I went to University of San Diego, got my degree, and then went off to flight school. I was in Pensacola, Florida for about 4 months before going on to Corpus Christi, Texas, where I met my beautiful wife, Josie, who I introduced earlier. We've been together since, and we got married at the end of my next duty station, Kingsville, Texas, learning how to fly trainer jets, the T-45C Goshawk. From there, we came back to California, Lemoore, California, if anybody knows the Central Valley and how beautiful and wonderful it is. I like the laughs, thank you. Flew Super Hornets up there. We loved it, 5 years up there in Lemoore. We welcomed our first of 2 daughters, 2 children up there. Solimar was born up there. And so I was in BFA 2, Strike Fighter Squadron 2, the Bounty Hunters, deployed with CAG 2, deployed a couple times to the South China Sea, Sea of Japan. Spent a lot of time away from home. So at that point, I was ready to be home with the family a lot more. So my next duty station, my final duty station, was with Training Squadron 86 in Pensacola, Florida. Very relaxed, teaching NFOs, naval flight officers, how to do their job in the backseat in Pensacola. I was going to get hours to go to the airlines. COVID put a damper on those kind of things, so I ended up shifting gears and just retiring from Pensacola. We did welcome our second daughter there, Sunny. Retired to Los Angeles, worked for Northrop Grumman doing intelligence and threat analysis work, looking at threat nations and things like that up there for only about 8 months before my current job opened up at MCAS Miramar, teaching Marines how to fly the F-35 Bravo, the Lightning II up there, this short takeoff vertical landing variant at Miramar. I've been there since September of 21. We've been here in Coronado for that entire time. We lived on the same block as Frank Spitzer, who got me involved Frank and Connie Spitzer, who got me involved in the Rotary through Flags on the Avenue and just kind of got me in, and I'm excited to be here. So we're going to be here for hopefully forever. So thank you. And with that, that finishes up my red badge requirements.
By the way, for those of you who are formerly 1310s, you know what that means. Look at those shoes. He's wearing his brown shoes. Okay, hang tight, and we're gonna have a mass red unbadging here. Frank is here. Gennady, would you also join us? And Joe Malloy, and Ivan, and Tom Mitchell, and I wonder if Paul Ledline would join us up here also as the chairman of this committee that turns red badgers into blue badgers.
Okay, got a lot of people wanting this on. Wow. Okay, so what I'm up here for is to take the red badge off this big guy here. Not all of you know this guy, I know. I want to encourage you to get to know him, because the more you talk to him, the more interesting his life sounds. But he came to us as a red badger on October the 12th, 2022. He's finished that program. In the last 2 or 3 months, he blistered. I mean, he got through it. It was amazing to watch him do it. His classification is Global Logistics. He's co-owner of ETS Global Logistics, and he's a member of the weekly meeting setup committee. So he's getting engaged. His mother, he's here in Coronado, his mother and his brother
brother finished high school here at Coronado, started college in San Diego, and it's a while ago when he came here, he looked tired. So I said, why are you so tired? Can you put that up there? This is why he's so tired. Can you run the video? It won't work.
I'm gonna try.
So don't worry about it. That's him picking up, 500 pounds? Something like that. Anyway, welcome to Anyway, it's not the naughty, it's Gunati. His family's Armenian. And I want to talk today about his family, his grandfather, and his father, and so on. So, just like I said, the more you get to know him and talk to him, the more fascinating his life seems. And welcome to the world of blue badge. Let me take the thing.
Thank you all very much. I'm very glad to finally become a full-fledged Rotarian. I'm glad to be with you, and I'm glad to help others together with you. I also want to say a special thank you to Ivan, Frank, Tom Mitchell, and everyone else who helped me get comfortable and become a member of this club. Thank you all.
Thank you, Denis. All right, Joe Malloy, I'm your stand-in sponsor since your original sponsor went to the East Coast. But we always have folks ready to take on wonderful people like you, and I'm so glad you're here. We're going to peel that red badge off of you. And congratulations.
This is not. Is it working?
Yes, it's working.
Oh, okay. Johnny.
It's working.
It's working.
Short, sweet, to the point. Congratulations.
Thank you. I can't tell you what a privilege it is for me to be the chairman of the Red Badge Committee. And when I first took this on, talking to Luann when she was head of the presidency in here, I didn't know really what it was about or anything like that. But I'm so proud to be part of it because, first of all, I get to meet each and every new member right off the bat, and to see them begin their Rotary tour. I'm also, I got to say, I'm always impressed by our new members with the kind of enthusiasm that they bring in joining the club and their dedication to getting through this orientation program. It's really something we should all be proud of.
Thank you, Paul. Okay, if I can impose on the 3 new Blue Badgers to center up here, and us old Blue Badgers will take the bookends for a picture. Come on in, you guys.
Okay, squeeze in a little bit more. All right, there you go. Thank you. Congratulations, you guys.
Okay. Doug, did you have a paid political announcement you wanted to make? The first minute is $10. The second minute will be $50.
I didn't know I was on the schedule until you sent it. So, President Bob, fellow Rotarians, those of you who were at the meeting last week heard our pitch for the Coronado Island Film Festival, which is coming right up, but we're mostly asking for you to volunteer to help us put down the sidewalk stars, 156 of them, and meet at my house Saturday morning, 7 a.m., November 4th. It's a week from Saturday, free donuts and coffee, and then we head uptown and we install the sidewalk stars. It's our Coronado Walk of Stars. So the sign-up sheet is on the table, and if there's not a sign-up sheet, see me afterwards. Thank you.
Thank you, Doug. Okay. Brenda Joe's going to do the, how did I skip that? No, Rotary Club of Sydney. I went right back. Come on up, Brenda Joe. I'm so sorry.
Thank you, President Bob.
I didn't forget about you. I just missed you.
That's me. Everybody missed me. So, if you weren't aware, I spent quite a bit of time in. They can't hear me in the back. Much better. Much better. All right. I spent quite a bit of time of September in Sydney. My daughter's been having a little health problem, so I got to be mom down there, which was super fun. But while I was there, I hooked up with the Rotary of Sydney, and met some amazing people. The president of the Rotary, Mark Allen, is a Rotary Fellow for Peace. And he currently, that's the focus around their year, and I was so fortunate to be able to be there for a guest speaker who's a Rotarian out of Israel. She was a nurse and worked out of the hospital right next to the Gaza Strip, and she created a program to help increase the nursing for all of the Palestinian nurses to care for the Palestinians who left the hospital out of the Israel side. And so it was quite amazing to be able to be there. It's a very international club, and I have new best friends, and we are still communicating, and I'm connecting them with people in the U.S. They want to be better connected to the U.S., and so hopefully that will continue. But I am bringing back the flag from Sydney to present to you, as well as they just went through their centennial, and they created a dollar with the Rotary symbol on it. Exactly. I was thinking the same thing. It is legal tender for a dollar. About 64 cents. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Brenda Joe. Okay, we have just a couple minutes before we hear from the Fisher House of Southern California. So I'll introduce our musical guest host for a couple of minutes, Mary Taylor.
Just like roll one.
Hello, hello. Okay.
Just roll it to the.
You thought you were going to get off scot-free, but autumn is arriving. And to that end, we want to feel the crisp, energized breeze of the seasons blow through this great energized room. And also to that end, we have, you probably don't know this about him, but Joe Malloy is quite a juggler. And by that I mean, not only is he in charge of all of this stuff here, the sound and the lights and the thing, but he plays the guitar, among other things. So he's going to accompany us today on a sing-along. And by this I mean you are singing along.
There we go.
Okay, so there's people standing around you. That's your Coronado Rotary Chorale. Don't ignore them. Sing with them. You're going to love this one, and you know this one. Okay, so
all right.
Hit it, Brenda Joe. Okay, you know this.
Sure.
Almost heaven, West Virginia, Blue Ridge Mountains, Shenandoah River. Life is old there, older than the breeze, younger than the mountains, flowing like a breeze. Country roads, take me home to the place where I belong, West Virginia, mountain mama, take me home, country roads, on my
more fun than that. All right. Everybody all energized now. So, ordinarily, I would, let's see. Full disclosure, our guest speaker is Linda Rahn, Executive Director of Fisher House, Southern California. And ordinarily, I would introduce my good friend, myself, because I am a board member of that organization. But we are so integrated in terms of what we do for the two homes that are down here in Balboa, of the four that are in Fisher House, Southern California district, that it's appropriate to have Mary Griffin actually introduce Linda, because Mary, if you don't know, is the chairman of our Fisher House committee, and we do a lot of things for this group down here. So I'm going to turn it over to Mary, and she'll introduce Linda.
It is my privilege to introduce our speaker today. Is better? Linda Rahn, who is a certified fundraising executive with 28 years career in nonprofits in local, regional, and in national arenas. She is the executive director of Fisher House, Southern California, which is a nonprofit organization providing temporary housing and lodging for military families, for veterans, and for their families in the comfort of home, which they wouldn't have otherwise when they came to see their son or daughter in a treatment center. The organization supports, as Bob has already pointed out, 4 Fisher houses located here in VA Long Beach Medical Center, Camp Pendleton, Navy Hospital, and then the 2 houses that we have here at the Navy Medical Center in San Diego, where many of you have already volunteered many hours up there. Linda holds a BA degree in political science and in French from UC Irvine. She is a member of the Rotary Club of Long Beach and of the Assistance League of Long Beach. Linda has been married to her husband, Alan, for 33 years. Please welcome Linda Rahn.
Thank you, Mary, for that kind introduction. And thank you for everyone for being here to greet me so warmly. So many of you have shared stories about how you are personally involved with our Fisher houses, have you toured them, and you've been supporting that organization for a long time, the 2 houses. So thank you very much. It is actually, as a Rotarian, I'm aware that Don Phipps, the governor, district governor, has made serving military families one of the 2 pillars for this year. And it is actually through Don Phipps that he introduced me to Bob Rutherford, who became a board member now a year ago. So it all comes full circle, and just thank you so much for warmly greeting me. Our other board member, Joey Jerome, is also here with us. So thank you. I've just a short bit of time here to talk about so much of what I care about deeply. We've got a board about 15 people, half of them are military serving members. And we have a geographic scope that goes from Long Beach down to all of San Diego and up through the Inland Empire. So let's get to it. So welcome, and I want to talk about our mission. It's to provide temporary lodging and support to military members and their families when they're receiving treatment at a VA or at a military hospital. And they can get this, stay in a lodging for free. Next slide. So what is a Fisher House? It's a comfort house. It's a place where families can come, prepare meals, large communal areas to dine in. And they're usually about 5,000 to 16,000 square feet.
Sorry. You good?
And yes. And so the Fisher House network, there are 95 Fisher Houses altogether. We have 2 in Germany and 1 in the UK. And altogether, they have served about 500,000 families so far. Next slide. So Fisher House, Southern California, supports 4 houses. So our first house is in Long Beach. It's at the VA Long Beach. This was built in 2016. This house is important because it's actually the genesis for how our organization got started. Fisher House Foundation said, we need a Fisher House at the VA Long Beach campus. Can you help? So a band of volunteers, similar like yourselves, raised $4.5 million against the $6 million build price. And in 2016, this beautiful 16-bedroom home was opened. They said, wow, you're doing such a great job. Can you then help with our Camp Pendleton house? This was built the year before. One funder wrote a check for $3 million and then walked away. They said, there's no one here to take care of this house beyond. So once a house is built, it's gifted back to the military installation. We don't own the house, it's their staff, but the military doesn't really take care of anything beyond that. They take care of the roof, the plumbing, electric, and the foundation. Everything else, they're hoping a support group like ours will fill in that gap with volunteer community support, such as what you've provided. Why this house is so important, this is actually very near and dear to my heart. This is 1,000 paces away from what's called an Intrepid Spirit Center. There are only 8 of these throughout the country. These Intrepid Spirit Centers are very comprehensive centers that deal with TBI, traumatic brain disorders, post-traumatic stress syndrome. They are helping to make sure that those who are on the cusp of committing suicide don't do it and get the help they need. Helps with balance, memory loss. So typically, there'll be a group of 8 people that would come in on a Sunday night. They're coming in their trucks. They're usually, oftentimes, special ops, 7 of them men. Oh my gosh, I don't need this. But the wife says, hey, you don't get that treatment, you don't enroll, I'm walking with the kids. So there they are, grudgingly, coming in from Nevada, Arizona, Antelope Valley. I gotta go to this program. 260 appointments, 240 appointments over 6 weeks. They have to stay there for the whole 6 weeks. Staying at the Fisher House. Monday morning, grudgingly, I gotta go to this dumb program. No eye contact. No hello. By Friday, house manager notes, they're saying hello. There's eye contact. Week 2, they're now talking. Week 3, the guys are doing barbecue out in the backyard of the Fisher House. By week 4, they're fast friends for life. This program is saving lives. It's saving families. I always get touched. I'm sorry, get really emotional on this one. Anyway, next house. We have 2 houses, as you all know, in San Diego. This was the 3rd house in the system to be built. It's 30 years old now. We are undertaking a $1 million renovation to bring it up to date. 30 years, it's a long time, right? A lot of turnover. And right across the street is our other house, which is beautiful, as most of you know this. They're both great houses, but if you go into this one, you go into the first one with the blue awnings, and you go, this is lovely. And you walk across the street, you go, this is really nice. Can I stay here? So we want to make them both equal. All right, next slide. So these have 2 9-bedrooms, 8 bedrooms in Camp Pendleton, 42 bedrooms altogether, serving about 126 family members every night. Now, what happens when our houses are full? Which does happen. Or, in the case of La Jolla, the VA in San Diego, which is in La Jolla, or the VA Loma Linda, there are no Fisher houses there. What happens there? We will put you up in a hotel. Right now, currently, this is a new program we started, by the way. We have 5 families that we're putting up in long-term housing, long-term as in 3 to 5 months, where they're getting proton therapy up in Loma Linda. Next slide. So why don't we take a look at this video here and play the video.
In 1990, Zachary Fisher was shocked to learn about a U.S. servicewoman who received medical care at a military hospital. Unable to afford a hotel stay, her husband spent every night of her hospitalization sleeping in his car so he could be with her every day. Zachary Fisher decided to change that. Welcome to Fisher House San Diego, 2 houses at 1 location, serving the Naval Medical Center at Balboa in San Diego, California. We're very proud to support our servicemen and women by offering this home away from home to active military families and veterans and their children, so they can stay close to their loved ones while they're receiving treatment for an injury or illness, or if they receive care at a private hospital nearby. Fisher House provides temporary lodging in a comfortable and relaxed setting just steps away from the hospital. Guests can stay at any Fisher House at no cost for as long as needed while the patient receives care. Combined, our 2 San Diego houses offer 18 spacious private guest rooms and baths. Each room has a TV, DVD player, alarm clock, hairdryer, internet connection, and telephone for local calls. Guests share a fully equipped and well-stocked kitchen and pantry, an open dining room, a warm living room and library, and a cozy family room with games and toys for the children. Guests can also enjoy the large outdoor covered patio and barbecue. Other features include modern laundry facilities, Wi-Fi in common areas, and full wheelchair accessibility. The Fisher House creates a warm and compassionate environment for families to find support from others in similar situations. Caring staff and volunteers are available to assist guests with their daily needs. Patriotic Americans, Zachary Fisher and his wife Elizabeth, built the first Fisher House in 1990. Today there are nearly 100 Fisher Houses across the country, including 3 overseas. The first San Diego Fisher House was built in 1992, thanks to generous donors from the community, and the now 30-year-old house will soon undergo an extensive renovation to help make it more efficient, safe, and comfortable for our families. In addition to San Diego, Fisher House Southern California supports 2 other locations, an 8-bedroom house at Naval Hospital Camp Pendleton, and a 16-bedroom house at the VA Long Beach Healthcare System, built in 2016. Since 1990, the Fisher House program has served nearly 450,000 military and veteran families, saving them more than $540 million in lodging and transportation costs. There are still about 130 VA hospitals across the country without a Fisher House. With your help, we can serve even more.
So for those of you who have never been able to get to tour the house, which is sometimes hard to do, it's on a Navy base, obviously. There you go. Hope you got to see it. Things that we do, by the way, we just finished about a $26,000 project to rekey all the doors of the 2 houses. We just finished the Camp Pendleton house as well, at another cost of about $13,000. So these are funds that we receive go to support projects like that the military does not have the discretionary funds to do whatsoever. Helps a lot with lost keys and being able to turn up those, you know that story, right? By the way, congratulations to you. You do great work there at the foundation. So we heard about Zachary and Elizabeth Fisher, and it was really the first $25 million that built the first 10 Fisher Houses, and it was his seeing and being aware of that, of a service member, of a man, sleeping in his car in the hospital parking lot while his wife was being treated. He said, we have to change that. So why do we need a Fisher House? That's a question I asked repeatedly of the person who hired me for the founding member of Fisher House. I said, I don't get it, Steve. I don't understand. Why are they having to travel from Guam or the Philippines to have a baby all the way here in San Diego? Why are they having to travel from, say, Colorado or Ohio to Loma Linda for proton therapy? I found I grew up around here. We have the best health care right here. So people have to come here to get that care for spinal cord injury in Long Beach, eye rehabilitation. We have the best health care right here. We want to make sure that by having, we all know that a family's love is best medicine. And when you have a family member right by your bedside, the outcome of that patient, we know is going to be better, right? We know that families can be there, stay together. They've had years of deployment with family members, as you all know, being, moving every 2 to 4 years. They don't have to stress about money. Why? Because staying at a Fisher House is free. There is never a cost to stay at a Fisher House, ever. And while you're there, there are food supplies, transportation is necessary. People might have forgotten change of clothes. So next slide. The one thing you have to do is be traveling a distance of about 40 miles one way. Now, how many of you have heard of the PACT Act? Okay. So the PACT Act was passed last year by Congress, and it's estimated that about 5 million veterans are going to be eligible for benefits due to illnesses that they are now being diagnosed with that are presumed to be possibly linked to some kind of toxic, chemical, hazardous waste, or Agent Orange exposure. This is going all the way back to Vietnam, post 9/11. So what that means for us is that we're going to have a demand on services of families. People now in their 70s are being diagnosed with all kinds of weird cancers that they probably got from something that they did back in the 60s and the 70s through their time of service. So our impact, we are ready. We can provide 15,000 nights of lodging a year, saving families up to $2 million and even more, with an average length of stay per family is 10 days. It's not uncommon for us to have families that are having to stay 3 and 4 months at a time. And since for our 10th anniversary, we're celebrating 7,000 families served and saving them $10 million. Yeah, thank you. And last year we provided about 654 families with nights of lodging, saving them $1.3 million. So when a house is not available, we have hotels. Let's go ahead and keep going because I want to get to the stories. Laundry services, golf carts, we take care of the landscaping, furniture, appliance repair. We can do it quickly within 3 days. We have our board members that take care of that. Whatever they need, whatever Tiana needs, we take care of it. So imagine for a moment, let's go to the next slide. Who is coming to our house? Let me tell you some of these stories. These are all people who come to stay at our house. Lance Corporal Kevin Gerodius. He's training at Camp Pendleton. He gets very, very sick. The doctors diagnose him. Young man, you have stage 4 colon cancer. He says, I'm only 25 years old, doc. He says, I'm sorry, I know. His mom there to our right, and father in Queens, New York, had to fly all the way out to California to be with him, staying there for 3 weeks while he made some major decisions about his health care, conferring with doctors. He had his surgery, they flew home. 4 months later, they came back when he was well enough to travel home. They were able to stay at the Fisher House all that time. And then he was able to stay there too, without having to worry about one hotel cost, one expense. Next slide. The Almeida family. Joe Almeida was on his way with his family, driving to the Palm Springs airport one early morning. It's 6 o'clock in the morning. He's in the Navy. Family had spent years in the East Coast. They had just transferred to 29 Palms. Didn't really know a lot of people. They were very excited to be going to Palm Springs Airport. They were going to fly out to go to a Bible camp study. On the highway there, suddenly, by dramatic impact, the car was completely severed, T-boned by a truck coming in the opposing direction. The accident, upon accident, she passed away. Christy. Little 6-year-old Johnny had to be airlifted and taken to the VA Children's Hospital. The commanding officer called, said, we need a place for this family. Can you help? Immediately he said yes. We already had hotel arrangements made before they even got there. Joel, Stephanie, and Johnny were able to be there together. And Joel literally went back and forth from the hotel to the hospital, back and forth, for about a month while Johnny recovered. Next slide. This is the actual accident. Next slide. And this is just some of their tribute. He said, Linda, he talks to me, he says, I talk to him once in a while. He says, you have no idea what you did for us during our time of need. Next slide. Here's Marine Sergeant Jason Ross. Really a proud Marine. Just couldn't wait to go back to do his second tour in Afghanistan. His job was to dismantle the explosive ordnance, right? Improvised explosive devices. Unfortunately, he stepped on one, and it took him way up in the air, completely dismantled his body. He lost everything from the pelvic downward. The caregivers gave him less than 1% chance of survival. He overheard nurses saying, he's a goner. But his father, George, says, no, that's not my son. Because he was able to stay in Fisher houses all over the country through 240 surgeries, he's now a survivor. Jason's doing very well. He went to his 13th Alive party last year. 12th last year, his 13th this year. And he was able to make it, and he and his wife were able to find support from other families going through what they were going through in the Fisher houses. And here he is on his first day out, getting some sunshine. Next slide. He's doing very well. And the next. Here's another story. Gentleman in the light green shirt. Sean. Tyshawn was 20 years old. So this is just last year. He's suddenly feeling sick. He's at Camp Pendleton. He has the wherewithal to go, I'm not feeling so good, I'm gonna go out and get some fresh air. And he collapses right in the quad. His Marine Corps buddies called 911. By ambulance, he codes twice. By the time he's at the hospital, he had to be airlifted to a special hospital that had this. They took him to Jacobs. They had to intubate him. They had to put him on echo machine. And the commanding officer had to call Mama to the left and say, you gotta come. You gotta come right now. She lives in Norfolk, Virginia, in low-income housing. She said, I don't have any money for an airplane. Don't worry about that, we got you covered. I've never been on an airplane before, I'm kind of scared. Got you covered, your son needs you. Where am I gonna stay? Don't worry about it, you're gonna stay at the Fisher house. Got you covered. She got on that plane and came to her son's bedside. Between the Fisher house and between hotel stay, which was in La Jolla, we took care of that family for 4.5 months. He's doing well, but unfortunately, he's on the heart transplant list, still at only 20 years old. They were able to fly home together though, a little much healthier, as you can see. So next slide. And of course, we've got the Tate family. They were up in Loma Linda, and a typical family who just, you get one thing happening after the other thing happening, where cancer treatment turns into other issues, and we can't drop these families. We're here to take care of these families, and we're still staying in touch with them. Our military family support, made of board members, still continue to talk to these families and make sure that they're still doing okay, because we care about them. Next slide. So, I just want to thank all of you for all your care and support. I know there are a lot of veteran causes, and we hope that you'll all find one that you care about deeply. If anything I shared with you today resonates with you and you'd like to get a little bit further involved, please come talk to me. Before I conclude, I want to just see who here is a veteran or active duty. Thank you for your service. I stumbled across very recently that the VA had just recently changed its mission statement to reflect something that President Lincoln said, something that I wasn't even aware of up until just a few months ago. But President Lincoln, and I'm paraphrasing, said, "It is beholden unto us It is America's promise to take care of those who have served and the children of those who have served. And we feel that we are honored and tasked with this wonderful privilege to help these families in their time of medical need. And I want to thank you for being an attentive audience, and to all of you on Zoom for listening, and a special thanks to the technology crew. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thanks for having me. I think I made it on time. I have questions. Anybody have any questions for me? Yes, the Ross family's in Temecula, and luckily he was able to go on to be a recipient of a Gary Sinise house. It's a beautiful home, and a lot of great foundations being worked for veterans. A question in the back?
Yeah, Linda, do I understand that most of these homes are multiple bedroom homes, and what's the advantage of that, or
Yes.
what are you trying to?
Yeah, we get asked that a lot. People say, why don't you just buy like an old apartment or have units? The purpose of having a small, and they actually found that 16 bedrooms is the sweet spot. Sometimes when you get to 21 families, it's too much. What they're looking for is intimacy. They want people to feel very comfortable walking around in their pajamas, their robe, their bunny slippers, and putting their feet on the couch as they would at home. When you're in that house and you're in a home environment that resembles like a home, you're more apt to just have conversations over coffee with another family member. That in itself is so much part of the healing process, where these families are arriving completely struck in the face with, they're in an unfamiliar city, miles, hundreds of miles, sometimes thousands of miles away from home. In a city that's more costly than them, and you look at where these houses are located, sometimes a grocery store is so far away. So having that arrival and meeting the staff and meeting with other families who are there to share what they've already learned, to encourage them on, give them support, is so important to them, and that's part of the healing process. So I hope that answers your question. They're private rooms, and they're very large rooms, so a couple of family members can share that room. I hope that answered your question. And they're all private bathrooms with the bedrooms. Last question.
Is 2 houses not enough for San Diego?
Two is not enough. Yes, that's correct. And if I could build one today, I'd build another house at Camp Pendleton, and I'd build one at the VA San Diego, and I'd build one at the VA Long Beach, Loma Linda.
So do you know how many houses we need for San Diego?
Well, there's 4 altogether, but 2 in San Diego now, and 1 in Oceanside at Camp Pendleton, and 1 at the VA Long Beach. But there's still 130 VAs, just VAs, that do not have a Fisher House. They try to make sure to get them on all the military active duty first, so there's huge penetration wherever there's active duty. Does that answer your question? Yeah. Okay. Okay, thank you. Thank you, Bob, again for having me.
Linda, it's a double honor to have you, both as the executive director of the Fisher House and also as a visiting Rotarian. So we have, for our speakers, something that you'll recognize, which is a 4-way coin. So it's a small token, but it's nice to carry around and remind you of how much we enjoyed having you here today. And of course, as a club, we're all in the Fisher House because we've got kind of a critical mass down here with 2 of the 4 houses in the Fisher House Southern California organization. So most of the people in this room are familiar with it, and a large portion of them have actually been out there planting or putting furniture or putting food on the shelves. And so we're really very grateful to Mary for running that committee and all the other Rotarians that participate in that endeavor, which is really, really special for our vets. So thank you again.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We never say no. Find a way to support their needs. Always. It's because of people like you in this room. Thank you.
All right, that brings us to the close of another wonderful, exciting Coronado Rotary meeting. Next week, we'll be back at the Coronado Yacht Club, and we will hear from the mayor of Chula Vista, which is actually the father of our own John McCann, also named John McCann. So we will see you there. And in the meantime, have a wonderful Rotary week, and remember, service above self.